Do these first before you start marketing on Twitter. Before you even seriously think of starting on Twitter, do these first. If you set up a website, you should have been doing these already. Just in case you are unclear on the concept or just in case you did things out of order, here are the things that you should do before you even think of marketing on Twitter. Pick your niche. It's really important to understand that if you want to be successful on the internet, you must have a laser focus on how you're going to make money. A lot of people are clueless regarding this. In fact, a lot of them think that they just need to buy a system that somebody else has built and they will make money. What they're really saying to themselves is they're too lazy to think through their online business. That's always a dangerous proposition because when you let another person do your thinking for you, you're going to have to deal with the consequences. You have to understand that when people build systems for others, they're usually trying to cut corners. They're trying to make the most amount of money with the least amount of effort. Do you think they have your best interest in mind with that attitude? Of course not. This is why it's a bad idea to let somebody else pick your business for you. You have to do it yourself. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know who you're going to be marketing to, what exactly you're going to be pushing, and how you're actually going to be making money on the internet. You can't just buy some sort of business in a box and expect everything to work out smoothly. That happy ending that you may have been dreaming of may be a very distant and even impossible dream. Why? You just didn't step up. You have to do all of this yourself. The most important is to pick a niche. A niche is a subject matter category or some sort of category for whatever collection of needs you are trying to address. What kind of problems do the products you are promoting or the website you are building address? Pick that niche. Understand how that niche compares with other niches. Understand whether it fits your amount of resources and your expectations. Build a site. You can outsource this. You can create a site that addresses your niche. When you're building a website, you're not just putting up a nice-looking online destination. It must do something. It must convert the traffic that you drive to that site into cold, hard cash. Create a mailing list. Next, you have to create a mailing list. This is crucial. Your mailing list is actually the payload of your website. Sure, you may be putting up affiliate ads on your website. When people click these and they land on the sales or landing page, they may buy something. When they do that, you get a commission. That's nice and everything, but if you really want to make money over the long term, create a mailing list. Why? Whatever credibility, respect, or trust you create with your website, you maintain with your mailing list. When you have an update on your website, you just publish the link on your mailing list and invite people to click through, and you have yourself a nice burst of traffic. I've got some bad news to share with you. The vast majority of people who visit your website will never come back again. That's the harsh reality. When you have a mailing list, you get to retain some of that traffic. You only need to set an update, and you get a nice little surge of traffic because people saw your email and clicked on your link. This enables you to retain some of the value of the hard work and time you put into branding and promoting your website. To create a mailing list, you have to offer a premium. It's some sort of freebie. It's some sort of incentive for people to join your mailing list. Of course, you make this case on your squeeze page. You advertise the value of the freebie you're giving on a page called a squeeze page. This is where people enter their email addresses to subscribe to your mailing list. Please understand that there is a big danger here. This is a warning. Don't go overboard in promoting the freebie because if you do that, people will sign up for the free booklet, the free course, or the free book. They couldn't care less about the updates your mailing list will send them. In fact, if you push the freebie too hard, they might even think that the updates you send are some form of spam because you caught them by surprise. Do you see how this works? There has to be a healthy balance between getting people pumped up to join your mailing list because they're getting something for doing it, but also letting them know that they are getting a better value by being on your list just because you will be sending them information that would enable them to solve all sorts of problems in their lives that are related to your niche. Do you see how this works? Do you see the balance? Create an ebook or report or some sort of high-value giveaway. When you create a mailing list, there has to be some sort of incentive for people to sign up to your list. I wish it were as easy as saying that your website is so awesome that your visitors owe it to themselves to sign up to your list. I'm telling you that if this is your strategy, you're probably going to get very few list members. Why? People need a push. They may be impressed by your website, they may like what you're doing, but this may not be enough to get them off the fence. To many people, entering an email address into a field is a lot of effort. You have to give them some sort of valuable incentive for them to sign up for your list. Generally, I would use some of my popular blog posts, or I would come up with a distilled version or a cheat sheet version. Usually this works. Other times, I would use some sort of massive compilation of resources that are an answer to people's problems. Whatever the case may be, the value of the incentive must be obvious. They don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out the value of what you're giving away. Again, to reiterate, the value must not be so big and steal so much of the spotlight that people forget that they're signing up for a mailing list. It must share equal billing with the list. You have to promote the freebie in such a way that it is still clear to the person registering to your mailing list that they are signing up for a mailing list. Find top-notch content in your niche. Once you've set up a website and a mailing list, the next step on your journey to marketing your website and mailing list on Twitter is content. It's easy to get tempted and think that you're some sort of niche genius. You get all excited about a hot idea or a hot blog post topic, so you write a blog article. You put in the time, effort, and energy to do that, but what happens? 9 times out of 10, that content doesn't work. For whatever reason, people do not seek it out. You don't get traffic with it. You're not alone when this happens. The idea of build it and they will come is a dead end. Thankfully, there's a shortcut. Focus on content in your niche that already works. Look at the social media accounts of influential people or companies in your niche. Look at the content they're sharing. Pay attention to how many social signals they get. Do they get a lot of retweets, likes, favorites? Do they get shared a lot on Facebook? Using this objective social signal information, select their best content and reverse engineer it. Reverse engineering top-shelf niche content. Now that you have a clear understanding of what's hot and what's not in your niche, the next step is to reverse engineer your competitors' best content. How do you do this? First of all, you just focus on their topic. If they're talking about a certain personality in your niche, then talk about that person, because obviously the fact that they're getting all this attention from your niche audience means people are truly interested in that personality. However, don't stop there. Come up with something new. Maybe interview that person directly, or maybe take some sort of controversial angle. Maybe you can give more complete information. Whatever the case may be, come up with content that is obviously superior. This is what's going to make your tweets more popular. This is what will speed your branding efforts up. I'm sorry, but if you're just going to offer the same content that everybody in your niche is already offering, there's really no reason the people you're reaching out to should follow you. Think about it. If they think that you're giving them the same stuff as other sites, why go to you? They can easily have gone to those other sites. Draw their attention based on familiar themes. Keep their attention by doing something a bit different. It doesn't have to be much. You don't have to be a hero. You don't have to go overboard. But it has to be different enough. Unfortunately, this is one of those things that you will have to figure out firsthand. You would have to do it through trial and error. You have to learn through trial and error. Set up consistent social media accounts. Now that you have followed the steps above, you can now start setting up your social media accounts. For starters, you should focus on YouTube, Google+, Facebook groups, Facebook pages, Twitter, and maybe Pinterest. Start with these. Later on, you can branch out to other social media platforms like Quora, Instagram, and others. Your social media accounts must be consistent with each other. Your headers must have the same design. Your biography and other text must have similar elements. The key here is to project consistency. Consistency indicates professionalism. You're not just some random person working out of your mom's garage putting up one random website after the other. It can also help you solidify your brand. If you make a good impression on Facebook groups and people click through to your Twitter account and they see similar messaging, they can see that you are consistent, constant, and offer different types of content. This would help them become more comfortable with your brand. This would help them view your brand as more credible. Commit to specialized content on your social media account. Here's the big danger with having many social media accounts. It's very easy to see that a lot of companies put up a presence on many different platforms. That's great and everything because you have many ways of getting new traffic. The problem is they post the same content across the board. This is a problem. When people approach your brand on Twitter, they're looking for content that is slightly different from the content they would expect on Facebook groups, your Facebook fan page, and definitely your YouTube channel. You have to be aware of these different expectations and give them what they're looking for. Oftentimes, this is as simple as the form of content you offer. Obviously, when you're on YouTube, it would suck if you just offer blank videos of somebody reading your articles. That's not going to work. At least bother to use slideshows with the article. Preferably, you should have some sort of video spokesperson who speaks directly to the people during the video. Each platform's content must maximize the format requirements of that specific platform. Get ready to go manual or full auto. At this stage, you have set up your Twitter account. It is brand consistent. You already have lined up the best content you have researched from your competitors. This content has a lot of likes, shares, comments, and other signs of engagement. This is third-party content produced by others. When people click the link, they go to somebody else's website. They do not go to your site. Why in the world would you share this stuff? What's the point of driving traffic to somebody else's website? Well, it really boils down to credibility. If you make it your job to get all the very best content involving your niche and sharing it from one central place, you become credible and authoritative so much faster than if you just publish your own content. First of all, it's going to take a lot of time to reverse engineer the very best content and come up with your own version. It can also become very expensive. Time, after all, is money. Even if you're not paying a professional writer from places like ozkey.org, who charge very reasonable rates, coming up with original content can still be a very expensive proposition for you. Why? It will take a lot of your own time to come up with that content. You probably have better things to do. You probably have other things you could be doing that would currently pay you more money. Third-party content is a lifesaver. This is called curation. You take the best content that everybody else has to offer and then you share it through your social media accounts. Here's the secret though. You share that content to draw people based on their interests. For example, if I find top-notch content on content marketing and I have a Twitter account that sells content marketing services, it would make a lot of sense for me to put all that high-quality and highly popular material in my Twitter feed, but from time to time, I would share my own original content. My original content would build credibility for me based on what I raise in the content. I control the conversation using those posts. After I get enough of a natural following, I would then share more and more of my own content and then share posts that only feature my squeeze page sign-up link. By doing this, I kill two birds with one stone. I share curated content to build credibility among a niche audience. These are people searching for certain specific content using very targeted hashtags. I pair very targeted niche hashtags with all my content. I rotate them. Then, I send out this content slowly but surely I get people who are truly interested in my niche. Once I've established quite a bit of a following, I then share my own reverse-engineered content. This builds even more credibility, and this can also lead to my website getting backlinks from bloggers who are monitoring my niche. Finally, once I've got enough flow going, I would then start rotating my squeeze page link through my tweets more often. Instead of showing my squeeze page tweets once every 2 days or once a week, I can start showing it every few hours. However, it only makes sense to do this once you have established a decent number of followers and there's a high enough overall engagement level with your tweets. This is the general strategy. You can do this either manually or on full auto. What is fully automated tweeting? Fully automated tweeting is exactly what it sounds like. The content that you are going to be tweeting is fed through a social media content publishing tool like Hootsuite or Social Oomph. You just set up a schedule and the links and the tweet text that you put are going to be published to your account. You don't have to babysit your Twitter account as it publishes tweet after tweet. You also automatically plug in the hashtag that you want to target for each tweet. Fully automated tweeting can also mean using certain tools like Follow Liker that actually mimics liking other people's accounts. Usually, when people have their posts liked, they feel good. It feels good to feel like you matter. It feels good to be appreciated. A certain percentage of these would actually click the account of the person liking and see what their page is like. If they like what they see, they end up following. Fully automated tweeting also includes this. You basically automate publishing, but you also automate engagement. There are many tools currently available on the market, but here's a bit of warning. Twitter is cracking down on bot-like behavior. While few people will have problems with automating publishing, most people would view automating liking or automated favoriting or listing with more suspicion. I'm just giving you a heads up because these bots may sooner or later be banned by Twitter. What is purely manual tweeting? You can go the other extreme. The other extreme, of course, is to do everything purely by hand. Not only do you find the very best content by hand, you filter them manually, you post everything manually, you also engage manually. The great thing about this is that you have maximum control. The bad thing about this is you need to have iron discipline to pull this off. What if the vast majority of your actual link clickers live in a different time zone? This is going to be a problem. You're going to have to get up early or stay up late to tweet within the hours your actual followers are most active. This can get downright inconvenient. Also, engaging tons of niche accounts on Twitter can burn up a lot of time. You also have to process a lot of information in a short period of time. Unless you have an IQ over 150, it's just going to be a little heavy because that's a lot of content to read through and analyze. Go for a hybrid solution. There's a lot to recommend a purely manual tweeting approach. You get a lot of control. You get a laser-like focus on account selection. You get to truly fine-tune your message. However, it takes too much time and effort. Thankfully, there is a halfway solution. This hybrid solution is pretty straightforward. You can use tools to post on your Twitter feed, but engagement is done manually. That's pretty much how it boils down. You still have to find niche-related content that's already gone viral. There's no getting around this. You still have to do this. Thankfully, there is a cheaper way to do this. You can, of course, do this yourself. Like I said, time is money. You might also feel like you're going nuts because you have to read so much material. The shortcut is to use a service like congoplus.com. They have virtual assistants from places like India and the Philippines that you only need pay $18 per day. These bright, ambitious, educated people would then find the viral content that you're looking for that meets your criteria. They then send you an XLS file, you verify, then you pay them. It's only $18 for 8 hours worth of work. You can't beat that with a baseball bat. You really can't. However way you choose to do it, you need to get this content. You then look for influence leaders on Twitter that cater to your niche. Again, you can do this yourself or you can hire a virtual assistant to do it for you. The secret is to make sure that they're almost always talking about your niche. Once you are sure about that, you can then look at their content and pay attention to their hashtags. Copy these. You're going to pair these with your tweets. Use an automated tool to publish. Whether you're doing things manually or automatically, use an automated tool to publish. The good news here is that you're not taking blind shots in the dark. When you publish, pair this content, whether it's original or third-party, with hashtags related to your niche. The difference. The big difference is what happens next. When you're using an automated system, you wait for an organic following and then you mix in your squeeze page links and your content links. You then use some sort of tool to mimic engagement. For a manual approach, you do the same. You wait for an organic following to increase and then you mix in your own stuff. The big difference is you invest 1 hour per day doing manual outreach to influencers in your niche. You should already be doing this because these are the people you got your hashtags from. Remember? The extra step that you need to take is just to engage with them. Tell them that you like their content. Manually like their stuff. Click the heart icon or retweet. Do whatever you can to get on their radar. One-to-one or person-to-person engagement is crucial. You have to get on their radar. Again, you can try to automate, but it can be ham-fisted. Also, it may be so obvious or clunky. Worse yet, Twitter might be cracking down on engagement automation, so this option may not remain open for long.